This is Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in San Diego County. Today we are joined by a new member of the Encinitas City Council. His name is Joe Mosca. He is really new because he was appointed to the position. Why were you appointed? We just had an election in November.
Right. Well, good to be here.
Thank you.
I was appointed because our current mayor, Catherine Blakespeare, she just ran in November and she just won the election in November. And when she won, she still had 2 years left on her city council term. And so then the city council was faced with the decision: do we have a special election, which would cost them $500,000 or $600,000, or do we appoint somebody? So they appointed somebody, and that was me.
Well, let's talk about the process because what is it? 16 people applied.
Right.
And there was a meeting, and you all spoke, or at least, what is it, 13 of you spoke. Then what happened?
Yeah, so the city council process was they said anybody that wants to be on the city council, apply. And then there's going to be a day for everybody to come down to interview in front of the city council. There were 16 people that applied, including myself. On the day, they interviewed us. We all came down. 13 of us came down.
It's crazy.
I know. 13 of us came down, and we spoke. We had an opportunity to speak for 5 minutes and say why we should be on the city council. And then the city council members on the council were able to ask us questions about, why we wanted to be on the city council. And then ultimately they supported me.
I would mention that you had served as a city council member in another city, not in this county.
Right.
Explain that.
Well, I served in Los Angeles County on the council in the city of Sierra Madre. And I do think that was one of the things that really, the city council, we have a lot of challenges facing the city, especially in the land use space. And I think the city council really wanted somebody that had experience. And so I was voted in by the people of the city of Sierra Madre in 2006 for a 4-year term, and then reelected in 2010, and also served as their mayor for 1 year.
And then your family wound up having to move as a result of a relocation to Europe. So you were gone for a few years.
Yes.
You had to leave the Sierra Madre Council, but then you come back, you wound up landing in San Diego County.
Right. So my husband had a company relocation to London.
Right.
And so we decided to go with that opportunity, and we moved to London with our 2 kids. At the time, our oldest was 4 years old and our youngest was 9 months old. So we moved there for 3 years, and it was an amazing opportunity. Oh, it was incredible. And then we got relocated back to the U.S. and we got relocated to San Diego, and we found our way to Encinitas.
And you've been here how long?
3 years.
I mean, it's pretty stunning that after 3 years you were able to create, I'll just say, a reputation that allowed you to have 3 of 4 members vote for you for city council. Like you said, you'd been a city council member in Sierra Madre. You got quickly involved, I understand, once you moved back. Joined a commission.
So I was appointed to the Parks and Recreation Commission, and I was involved in the Parks Master Plan update, the Trails Master Plan update, and I've also been involved in the Coastal Mobility Livability Work Group, which is basically looking at our rail corridor and planning for that corridor.
But it's pretty crazy to think.
It is.
What a ride.
Yeah, I fully understand, because I didn't expect to be on the city council either. I was very happy serving on the Parks and Recreation Commission. And I didn't, there was an election recently, and I didn't run for election. Because I was very happy being on the Parks and Rec Commission. And then, when Catherine became our mayor and that opportunity opened up, I thought it was, this is great. But I still didn't think that I was going to be.
I got to ask you, what do the kids think?
Oh, they're excited.
Do they get it? Do they understand?
Yeah. They're really excited. My youngest is, why are you up there? Why are you up at the dais? But my oldest kind of remembers a little bit from
Sierra Madre.
And Sierra Madre is a small town and very, very kind of hands-on. And so he does remember being in some of the parades and going to the city council meetings and going to events. And he remembers.
So how many people live in Sierra Madre? I can't remember.
Small. So it's like a portion of Encinitas, 13,000.
And Encinitas is about 60, is that right?
About 63. Yeah.
Okay, so do some more compare and contrast.
Right.
Once you hit over 50,000, you're kind of in a new category.
Right.
Being at 13 is a completely different beast. So does it feel different?
Oh, absolutely. Sierra Madre Encinitas makes up 5 different communities. Sierra Madre is probably the size of one of the communities in Encinitas. And so it's very different. The 5 different communities of Encinitas are very independent and have have kind of a character about each one of them. Sierra Madre, I think that there's probably just one character for the entire community.
It's a beautiful community. I know it well. I mean, as is Encinitas. I mean, they're both beautiful for their own reasons, and they both bring so much to the table.
Right.
I want to speak with you about some of your goals. What do you hope to accomplish? I know it's just a few weeks old, but are you looking at the housing element, climate action plan? What are your thoughts?
Well, there are many challenges facing the city. So I'm in terms of getting in there and working with the team to address the challenges that are on the table already, such as some of the challenges that you've mentioned, the housing element, the climate action plan, the rail corridor. I have some also goals of my own that center around acquisition of park space, of trails. These are issues that I've been working on the Parks and Recreation Commission that I'll continue to work on. We've had a Trails Master Plan update that set forth many different goals. I want to be a part of implementing those goals. And also, I have a background in public safety, so I want to get in there and make sure that we're meeting the needs, current needs and future needs in terms of police and fire. And also, as you've mentioned, the CAP, Climate Action Plan.
Can we talk about that?
Sure.
I was speaking with the mayor of San Diego recently, and he brought up his desire to continue to build on the Climate Action Plan. And my question to him was, and I'll ask you as well, you're an attorney, so I appreciate your insight. The Climate Action Plan is done through state law. But what we know is the federal government also has some involvement in how cities, counties, state approach environmental questions. The new administration in Washington has suggested it's really not interested in allowing local governments, state governments to go their own way.
Right.
What's your sense on this, Councilman?
Well, it's an interesting question, and we'll see as we move forward how much power the federal government can assert against the state. But I fully believe that it's our responsibility as city leaders to continue, especially in the next 4 years, moving the ball forward, addressing the effects of climate change and the roots of climate change, making sure that we're reducing our carbon footprint, and we're
to some, the words reducing carbon footprint, fighting words. And so many of those that see that as fighting words have a lot of power in Washington. And so, I mean, look, I know there's no answer.
Right.
But I just wonder, how far does California go with this if Washington is not willing to allow local control on these questions?
I think we take it as far as we can. I mean, we need to fight. This is really, I mean, I think climate change is the moral crisis of our time, and we need to fight as hard as possible. I think the state legislature has already shown that we're going to fight this by hiring the former Attorney General to make sure that we're making our case in D.C. And so, I'm confident that we're gonna on the state level that we'll fight, and the city level we just need to make sure that we're doing our part to move the ball forward.
He is Joe Mosca. He's a new councilman in the city of Encinitas. We congratulate you on that. My name is Brad Pomerance, coming to you from San Diego County. This is Local Edition.